Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on what is the economic aftermath of the Great Resignation. So what is predicting to transpire post the Great Resignation elapsing? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. First and foremost, the unemployment rate is slated to amplify post the Great Resignation elapsing. It will hover between 97 to 98% post the Great Resignation elapsing as a result of so few people, such an infinitesimal amount of the population as an aggregate, working real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand. I cannot deem people who work boondoggles jobs to be employed because those jobs will never exist in a free market economy. People who work boondoggles jobs have their salaries, pensions, benefits subsidized by people who work real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand. So just because someone has a boondoggles job does not mean that they should be constituted as someone who is employed, because their job would never exist in a free market economy if it's not a real private sector job based on voluntary demand. If it's involuntarily financed in this control market economy, then it's not a real private sector job. So the reason why there will be a dearth of real private sector employees in the workforce is attributed to a multitude of reasons, to say the least. Real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand induce chronic burnout, chronic fatigue, chronic stress, and elicit an increased mortality rate. Furthermore, working real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand adversely impinges on every facet of your sacrosanct, indispensable, precious, and valuable health. Real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand are often deemed highly time-draining, dead-end, minimum wage, dispiriting, unfulfilling, undesirable, harrowing, distressful, brutally wretched jobs that do not pay anything close to even 1/4 of a subsistence wage for affording housing. As you are acutely aware, based on the pay grade of the system manager, they deem 2 hours of his time to be commensurate to 1 second of the CEO's time. So the system manager can work for half of a century, 5 decades, or 50 years for 104,000 hours. In spite of that, he will still gross less revenue than the CEO grosses in under 15 hours. They deem the CEO's time to be at least 743,000% more valuable than the system manager's time based on the pay grade of the CEO and the system manager. So the disparity in wealth between the employees and the CEOs is predicted to further amplify in the pending future. It will not be winnowed down, it will not contract. So employers will cope with this dearth of real private sector employees by displacing their workforce with more robots, more artificial intelligences, more algorithms, and more automated processes. In the age of automation, they'll be all the less reliant on human laborers to perform their business operations. The existing employees will take on more burdensome responsibilities, or roles will become all the more versatile and multifarious, to say the least. The companies will still be able to earn record high profits in spite of having skeleton crews, and the shareholders will be appeased because their wealth will be maximized and the company's profits will be maximized because their labor costs will be minimized. So companies are amenable to displacing their human labor force with robots, artificial intelligences, automated processes, and algorithms. Post the Great Resignation elapsing, more people will become welfare aristocrats. By becoming welfare aristocrats, they're able to receive unlimited money in tandem with unlimited benefits, which is quite beneficent for them because they're able to attain the utmost highest standard of living without working a day in their lives to do so. People work real private jobs based on voluntary demand will finance the amenities, the luxuries, the accoutrements, the unlimited money, and the unlimited benefits of welfare aristocrats who refuse to work in any capacity. So the standard of living will increase for most people as a result of them becoming welfare aristocrats. Corporations will reap all-time high profits as a result of displacing their human workforce with more robots, more artificial intelligences, more algorithms, and more automated processes post the Great Resignation elapsing. The pay disparity between the employees and the CEOs will further amplify to an unprecedented height in the pending future. I would not be surprised if, in the pending future, the pay disparity between the system manager and the CEO was at least 1,000,000% minimum. It's almost unfathomable that in 1 second the CEO can generate as much revenue as a system manager grosses in 2 hours.